Now, ahead of his planned inauguration as president of Nigeria in a matter of days, the president-elect Blinken-Tinubu earlier in the week spoke over the phone with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who assured him of America's readiness to deepen cooperation with Nigeria in the development of democracy. The American diplomat also assured the president-elect of Washington's commitment to further strengthening bilateral relationships with the incoming administration. Polarized analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the opposition party's unwelcome disposition to that phone call, why this scenario is playing out just before the presidential inauguration, and curiously, a few days after the U.S. State Department claimed to have imposed travel restrictions on certain persons considered to have worked against the recent general election in Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here.
Right. So let's begin. I'll just take this bit from the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. He basically said that this gesture by the U.S. contradicts the position of the U.S. on the general election in Nigeria. Do you see reason with his view?
He's trying to sound like a poor loser. See, because if Atiku had won the election, the American Secretary of State would still have phoned him and congratulated him. Because Nigeria and the U.S. are good trade partners. And you see, what you are practicing, even the election we did, is based on the American presidential system. You get me? And it's a winner-takes-all thing. That is, that Blinken has phoned Tinubu is just international diplomatic courtesy. You see, where election is a political competition. Somebody must win. And there are due processes to seek redress. And those processes are on. We are in the court. People, it seems, have not learned to live with that, especially the young people in our midst. They have not learned.
Who are the young people in our midst?
Yes. You see, it is good to have opportunity to vote, but it goes with responsibility. And it goes with an awareness that you can only vote in a situation of peace and stability and order. Not you have anarchy, persistent protest over nothing. There are good examples to look at and borrow a leaf from. Egypt, during the Arab Spring, 2011, they drove away Mubarak. They tried to appease them. They were demonstrating, until the army came in, organized some elections, and the person they brought in, Mohamed Morsi, died in prison.
Yeah.
Now the army is back, but it has shed its uniform, it's in control. Sudan, you see what is going on in Sudan? They had a prime minister, elected prime minister after the coup of 2019. They put their president, you get me? They put it in prison like Mubarak, they put him in cage.
Yeah.
Now, those who came in, the two leaders who came in, purportedly on the side of the people, are now at each other's throat. And now nobody is talking of handing over to people in a democracy. You see, people don't appreciate some things until they lose them. I hope that will not be the case with Nigeria. You get me? Yes. Because what is happening is we must have mutual respect for ourselves as followers and for our leaders as those elected by ourselves and given the mandate. It's Tinubu's turn today. It could be Obi's turn tomorrow. It could be Atiku's turn tomorrow. Let people be their time and respect each other as political leaders.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
But when you look at, the events that have played out this week with the U.S. on one hand saying that it's imposed visa restrictions on certain individuals, of course, they made it very clear that it's not Nigeria in its totality, but specific individuals that, tampered or hindered the election process. Do you think it might have been a better option if this call came probably after May 29th? Could it have waited?
No, How could it have voted? What is the U.S. business in Nigeria's elections? This is the sort of thing I'm trying to tell you. And that was why the president was gloating the other time, that they won, this party won, because the others were relying on foreign interests to come and intervene in our own election. That's lack of respect for our sovereignty and poor patriotism on the part of those who. Nigeria is a sovereign state. It is in the Committee of Nations, Nigeria has one vote just like the United States. So why are you asking for them to play a supervisory refereeing role in our own elections? Every country has its own culture, has its own political culture. The American political culture, okay, they are at a cultural war with each other now. You get me? On race, on sex. They are practicing inclusion, diversity, different from our own diversity. We have our own diversity. Our own is more inclusive than their own. But they are trying to go back into history and rewrite history. We are making history.
But I think from what it looks like, you know, we did invite them to be observers during our election. That's the
fashion nowadays.
I hear you, but if they didn't take these steps, then would they have looked like active observers if they did not do anything with the observation that they did?
But they are decent people. Nigerians are saying they should give them the list of people. They said they have their own laws. They don't give out the list. But when it comes to your turn for you to travel, you will know that you are on the list. That is the idea. Because in international relations, they have no fiat to interfere in our internal affairs. That is the courtesies amongst nations. In the international relations, there are no permanent enemies or friends, but permanent interests. And the Americans have given us commensurate respect as a sovereign state, less than we are giving ourselves. How can the presidential candidate of the PDP be saying that because they phoned Tinubu, they have given legitimacy to his candidature when the cases are in court? What is the concept of legitimacy? Legitimacy is authority duly, rightly, constitutionally given. And how do you get that in Nigeria? You go to the polls, and the man won. He lost. Let people learn to be sportsmen. You get me now? And not allow sad grapes to bandy them to what is obvious and what should be acceptable.
Okay, so now in terms of what was actually discussed, the president-elect made it very clear that his immediate priorities would be to deliver institutional reforms and development programs to deepen our democratic institutions and help and bring help to the poor and vulnerable Nigerians. Do you think that this sums up all the immediate steps that he needs to take?
That's precisely what the American Secretary of State was trying to tell him. That is, should improve institutional democracy, and it should have an inclusive government. All he's telling him is that the fact that some people lost did not mean that they should be excluded from your programs, which is what democracy is all about. You get me? People should learn to respect their own political culture and their own environment and their own leaders. There is no utopia anywhere, but there is no dystopia either. This place is not hell. This is the Democratic Republic of Nigeria. Yes.
Well, duly noted. Arise analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. It's been a pleasure, as always. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Well, Arise News Channel has emerged Nigeria's best television station as part of a barrage of other laurels won by the International News Organization at Wednesday nights, and that was at the Nigeria Broadcasting Awards organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria. The maiden edition of the annual Award of Excellence for Outstanding Nigerian Broadcasters took place right here in Lagos. The event was created to recognize, celebrate, and reward professional excellence in Nigeria's broadcast industry. There were different categories of awards from both radio and television. Arise News won the first award of the night, which was Best Television Station News English Language. For the Best Reporter of the Year, 3 of Arise News correspondents were among the nominees, in the category include about Ovietime George of Arise News won that award. Also recognized were individuals who'd made landmark contributions to the broadcast industry, including Christopher Kolade and Raymond Opesi. Arise News also beat others to clinch the Television Station of the Year award.
And the winner is Arise News.
First of all, we have to be grateful to God Almighty for making this possible. It's a combination of hard work put into this station. And we must commend the chief visionary himself, our chairman, Prince Nduka Obaigbena, who is a tireless worker, one of the hands behind the camera, amongst many others, but of course he's the chief visionary, and he never sleeps to ensure that Arise stays on top with the news, come out with the best of analysis. And we also give market intelligence you can take to the bank. So this is an encouragement that we are doing well. And when a professional body like the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria organizes an award and say, yes, Arise News, you are the television station of the year, I'm sure I can take that to the bank also. So it's a thing of joy. We're all happy, and we dedicate this to all our viewers all across the world who tune in every morning, every night to get the news from Arise, to get analysis, top analysis from Arise, as well as market intelligence. We cannot say thank you enough to all our viewers. And of course, once again, congratulations to all of us, especially Prince Nduka Obaigbena, the Prince of Owa.
Excited.
Thank you.
Very delighted. I think it's a reward for hard work.
Excited.
Which also means
Very
more
delighted.
work. But
I think it's
a great thing
reward for hard work.
to be recognized
Which
for
also
what you do,
means
to be appreciated
more
and
work.
rewarded.